Hello everyone and welcome to another historic video. So again, today we're going to be looking at another storm deck. This time around it's going to be Temur version, and there is a reason for that. Did you guys know that Grinning Ignis happens to be an elemental? And there's a card that goes really well with Grinning Ignis, and that's Risen Reef. So let's take a closer look at the deck so I can talk about some of the things that I changed with the deck going from Gruul to Temur. So this is the deck that I got so far. So last time around we were looking at a Gruul version of Storm. And also the Japanese card that you see here is Grape Shot, just in case you don't know. So the combo behind of this deck is to kill your opponent with a Grape Shot, and that comes from playing multiple cards in a single turn. So if you play 20 cards in a single turn and then you Grape Shot, you can Grape Shot for 20 damage. So that's the idea behind of this deck. So last time around, we took a look at a Gruul version, which played the Alchemy Enchantment Capenna Rebel. And there's another card that actually does the same job the Capenna Rebel does. And the replacement card for the Alchemy Enchantment is Risen Reef. So interestingly enough, I did not know Grinning Ignis was an elemental. When you pair Grinning Ignis and Risen Reef together, what you have is an engine that can draw your entire deck if you can constantly bounce Grinning Ignis back into your hand and playing it onto the battlefield. The enchantment version, in some ways, is a lot better than Risen Reef because it's harder to interact with the enchantment. But in some cases, Risen Reef is actually better just because the enchantment only pulls out creatures, right? Which means that in a deck like ours, compared to the Alchemy version that doesn't play the Grape Shot, we can draw into Grape Shot using the Risen Reef ETB going off. And at the same time, if you go Temur, you also get access to Seasoned Pyromancer, which also draws you a bunch of cards to go through your deck to get the combo pieces quicker. And at the same time, when you discard a non-land card with Seasoned Pyromancer, it actually creates an elemental that can also trigger the Risen Reef at the same time. And on top of that, it gives you access to Expressive Iteration, which is now apparently a banned card in Pioneer and Explorer, so that's another upside. If it's a banned card, it's probably really good, right? And I also added 4 more copies of Gilded Goose until we get Elvish Mystic in the future. The Elvish Mystic is going to come sooner or later because Wizards of the Coast wants to bring Pioneer staple cards into Magic Arena, so until we get Elvish Mystic, we have to deal with playing the Gilded Goose. But Gilded Goose is important because we added more 3-drops in our deck with Seasoned Pyromancer and Risen Reef. We really want to curve 1-drop into a 3-drop. So that is the reason for that. And again, I'll just go over the combo real quick. In this deck, you have turn 3 lethal. You go Llanowar Elf or Gilded Goose into either Burgi or Racketeer Boss. And if you play Racketeer Boss, you put the treasure making ability on the Grinning Ignis. Then on turn 3, you play Grinning Ignis onto the battlefield and then bounce it back until you have enough storm count. And at the end, you bounce the Grinning Ignis back to your hand and then you generate 3 mana. And with that 3 mana, you can use Grape Shot to deal infinite damage. So that's basically just a bit. And the second combo is if you don't have Grape Shot in your hand, then it's a little bit more convoluted. It requires exact combination of cards. You have to go either Gilded Goose or Llanowar Elf into Racketeer Boss on turn 2. And then you also have to have Reckless Fireweaver and Grinning Ignis in your hand. Then you choose those 2 cards to be able to make treasure. And then on turn 3, play Reckless Fireweaver. Then you have 3 mana left over because Racketeer Boss gave the treasure making ability to the Reckless Fireweaver. Now you have 2 mana left over as a land source. And then you also have 1 additional mana from the treasure. So now you have 3 mana left over. Then with the 3 mana, you constantly bounce Grinning Ignis to the battlefield and then to your hand. And what this will do is every time you cast Grinning Ignis means that you have made a treasure token every time you cast it. So which means that with Fireweaver, you have dealt infinite damage. So the second combo is a little bit more convoluted, but it is another way you can kill your opponent on turn 3. So I think it's worth having the Reckless Fireweaver in the deck. Now, do I think this deck is better than the Gruul version? I don't know, but I think it's really cool that Grinning Ignis happens to be an elemental and it triggers off of Risen Reef. And then you also get to play Seasoned Pyromancer and Expressive Iteration as a form of draw that doesn't really existed in the Gruul version before, so that you can get to your combos faster. So I think it's like case by case, this deck might be better than Gruul version, but the Gruul version also is a lot more harder to interact with, because since Risen Reef happens to trigger the enter the battle effect coming down on the Greening Ignis, so that you can react to the Greening Ignis coming onto the battlefield, and then your opponent can kill the Greening Ignis. That's a way to stop it. But in the Gruul version, there's no the enter the battle effect triggers on the Greening Ignis, so you can't ever interact with the Greening Ignis. So yeah, it's hard to say whether or not it's strictly better. But I kind of like this version a little bit more, just because the deck has a bunch of cards that can draw. But anyways, that's all I have to say. And as for the games, I'm just going to show you 2 games of what the deck is capable of, because I'm quite busy this week. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye. Okay. Wait, I don't have a blue source. Okay, this was a pretty, blue? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a blue. Tenacious Underdog. Okay, I did not expect a Tenacious Underdog from a Yorion deck, but sure. I'll take it. Okay. That kind of passed by pretty quick. So, right now, because this is an elemental, I can draw infinite cards and infinite lands, right? This is kind of sick. Oh, actually, we just win, right? We just win. Yeah, we won. Wow. Because if I bounce, I get 3 mana back. Yeah, I just won. Like, wow, that just came out of nowhere. It actually works better than I expected. Pretty cool. I love the fact that now that we can play Expressive Iteration. It's so good. It's actually so good. Wow. That is a deck that can answer this deck though with the Unholy Heat. You know? Like, Unholy Heat is a card. Okay, I did not expect that Symmetry Sage. We can win next turn. If we get a Grim Ignis with Expressive Iteration. Can we actually? Hold up. The Expressive Iteration, get a mana back. The Expressive Iteration. I don't know why I played that land, by the way. But that's okay. Huh. Yeah. So about that land. about that land? Whoops. Oh boy. Right. Wait, we can just play it. Well, we have to ditch Racketeer boss though. I guess that's fine because we have Bergie. We have the block with the Gilded Goose here. So the play was actually put the Bergie into my hand and put the Seasoned Pyromancer to the right side and then play the Gilded Goose to generate additional mana. Yeah. I'm bad. Then I would have another Elemental. Certainly a play that I should have made, for sure. I could also just take the damage here and then eat the food. Just keep creating the food, you know? Okay, that's pretty bad though. Okay, we had a pretty... I thought we had a pretty exciting start, but we're kind of flooding as a 20-lander. No. They just not play artifacts. Instant sorcery. Land. They need a creature in the yard. Okay, they got it. I think this time I have to block. Oh, it's a Phoenix deck. With the Symmetry stage. Oh, right. Okay. Literally would have been perfect if this was a green source. Now it's less perfect. Thanks to that. It's okay though. Okay, I don't know why I didn't play Stomping Ground there. Is this Rogue? Might be. Might be a rogue deck. Sensor Gamer. Pretty sure opponent's holding on to Fatal Push because there was a stop last turn with just 1 mana up. Yeah, there you go. Fire off, Expressive Iteration. I bet they have more sensors. Never mind. That is a fast as Kanta. End me right now. End my misery. I mean, it's not over yet. If we just get... I guess it's kind of over because I was about to say, if we get Grinding Ignis here, maybe we'll have a chance to win, but... just not the case. End my suffering. Hey, who knows? We got some chump blockers. We got some chump blockers. Maybe we can get through this. Copium. Oh, imagine if we have Bergie. Imagine if we had Bergie here or Racketeer Boss, but I really needed to fire off the Seasoned Pyromancer last turn. Did I make a mistake? Did we need the Grape Shot? I don't think we did. Do we have a chance here? Do we? Oh, come on. They have another counter spell. It's a sensor, I think. Okay. Holy crap, we might actually have a chance. There's no enter battle effect right now, right? No. So Grinning Ignis is a 1-card combo. Well, this is a 2-card combo, so... Please let there not... No counterspell, please. No counterspell. No counterspell? Well, you can counter this one. I'll let you counter this one. That's a good sign. They're looking for a counterspell. You can counter Risen Reef. Can you counter Risen Reef? I think I just made a mistake. Now that they didn't have a counterspell, they can kill Grinning Ignis. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. Hello? Maybe they just have Fatal Push? Oh, they... Wait, okay, well, hold up. Don't get too excited. No, yeah, they lost. It backfired on them. Okay, I made a tremendous mistake. I should have calculated... Oh, if they didn't have a counterspell, then, you know... Playing the Risen Reef was... I mean, that's hindsight, right? If they didn't have a counter... Like, this is a good counterspell target. So you counterspell this. Right? It's just hindsight. If I played Grinning Ignis and it got countered, I had no way to win. But if I played Risen Reef and they have a counterspell, then I have a backup plan for Grinning Ignis. I think that's hindsight. I think my play was okay. But they have no mana open to gain life, so I'm just going to... I'm gonna deal 15 damage. I'm gonna deal 15 damage. They could have a 0 mana counterspell to counter one of the storm. So I'm gonna deal 15 damage. Or 16 damage. That was a close game. That was a close game.